The following program is intended for mature audiences.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene is alongside. As always, we are in the Wicked Weed studio. Time to talk some college betting picks for Week 7 in college football. The season seems to be just rolling by
time
quickly.
Flies when you're having fun.
We'll get into all the
unless you're an LSU fan, we're having fun.
Yeah, we got the 12 biggest games in college football this week. All of the picks. Starting out with the noon slate. The biggest one in the noon slate, my opinion, it's got to be Oklahoma State and Texas.
That would be my thought.
Texas, man, they had them. They had Oklahoma last week and just let it slip away.
And then they doo-dooed in their pants.
They did indeed. Now, Casey Thompson, Bijan Robinson, to me, this is a revenge game.
And I would agree. Here's the thing that I think a lot of people are going to get wrong in this game.
Okay.
Oklahoma State's a team that we've known for years as an offensive juggernaut.
Yeah.
Well, they're not. Matter of fact, they're downright fucking bad offensively.
Right.
But the defense is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of changes the tenor of this game to me, because this might be the best defensive team outside of maybe West Virginia. Mm-hmm. Or Baylor that Texas plays all year.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't care. I don't think Oklahoma State can hold them down enough.
And they don't have the offense to keep up.
No, God, no. If this turns into a track meet, it'll be a fucking blowout.
Yeah.
I mean, they will blow them out.
I am easily on Texas -4.
I am too. I really wanted to have a disagreement here, but I don't. I mean, honestly, I don't see how you don't take Texas to win this game.
Right.
Bijan Robinson's the best player on the field.
Yep.
And I know Casey Thompson's not the most accurate quarterback, and I get all of that. I just think there's enough in the run game that you can't center on it.
Yep.
I'm going to take Texas to cover this number, and I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't think it's close.
Yep.
Do you think this game stays close?
Not at all.
I don't either.
I think Texas gets out to a big lead early, and that Oklahoma State team, they're going to try to play catch up. But Spencer Sanders, he just doesn't have it. He doesn't have the weapons to be able to keep up.
I think I have talked shit about Spencer Sanders so many times, and he's a kid that he has never done a damn thing to me. But by God, I have talked shit about him for.
Yep.
Hell, it feels like 10. It feels like he's been at Oklahoma State for like 10 years. I know he hasn't. He's been there 2.
Right.
It feels like 10.
It does feel like a lot. Texas -4. That is the bet in this game. And by the way, you can lock in your wagers with BETUS.com. BETUS.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy, and they will match, or they will give you a deposit bonus of 125% on whatever you put in. And they will do that up to $2,500. Use the promo code Sportsocracy at BETUS.com. Auburn takes on Arkansas in Arkansas, and Arkansas is a 4.5-point favorite.
Am I the only one that thinks this is dumb? I looked at this number and went, have you watched Auburn? Like, really watched Auburn? Mm-hmm. That team's not good.
No.
This is the same team that should have lost to Georgia State. Mm-hmm. And I firmly believe would have, had it not been for an act of God. Mm-hmm. I don't really have anything nicer to say.
Right.
I hated the Brian Harsin hire when they made it. Mm-hmm. I still hate it. Nothing has changed there. And at the end of the day, Bo Nick's on the road.
Yep.
I mean, how many narratives do I need to pick this game?
I don't know. Do you?
Because I think I have about 10 of them.
How about KJ Jefferson against that Auburn defense? They don't have anybody on their team that can hold him down.
No.
Arkansas also 5-1 against the spread this year, so I like them to cover this number.
I do too. I don't think this game will be particularly close either. Mm-hmm. Arkansas's offense is better than it's given credit for. I don't think it's super dynamic. The Cam Newton comparisons with KJ Jefferson are nominally funny to me because they're both big mobile quarterbacks.
Right.
KJ Jefferson has nowhere near the arm that Cam Newton had. And trust me, I take shots at Cam Newton every opportunity I get.
Right.
But that's a funny, lazy comparison to me.
Yep.
But this is another game that I feel really good about going to BETUS.com using promo code Sportsocracy. Lay your wager there. They'll give you a 125% deposit bonus in free plays, and this is a free play game.
Yep.
So you can load up all of your free play dollars on this, and then you have real U.S. doll hairs.
Take Arkansas minus the 4.5. Florida and LSU get going down in Baton Rouge. It's a noon game. When did you ever think Florida LSU would be a noon game?
Go Tigers. Good God. Is there a program in all of major college football where things are going worse than they are at LSU?
No. No,
I mean, Miami, that's another program we're going to talk about in a little bit. It's not going particularly swimming there. But good Lord, it's so bad.
To the point where I believe that the injuries that they have suffered over the last few weeks might be a little overblown. The star players for LSU are basically jumping ship.
And I'll be honest with you, I mean,
Derek Stingley.
Well, I mean, and I said in the offseason that there were things that happened at LSU. There were some, when last year when the George Floyd things were happening, there were a lot of players, Eric Gilbert included, that thought that Ed Orgeron didn't have the players' backs and didn't support the players. I heard that very clearly. And I had a fear with LSU. I thought the coordinators and the hires and everything that Orgeron did in the offseason would be enough. It's not. It's not, and this team is terrible. The shocking thing is how bad they are defensively. This team's almost always been at least coherent defensively.
Right.
This team is not coherent. And I could, honest to God, see Florida scoring as many points as they want to here. Do you agree?
I don't know about as many points as they want to, but they're going to score as many as they need to make this look horrid. I would put the over-under on Florida alone scoring 40 points in this game. Would you agree?
I would. I don't see how LSU is supposed to stop them.
No, they're not going to. And so to me, that spread, Florida minus 12, is pretty easy. Should be an easy call.
I mean, it's pretty easy to me.
Right.
That was one that I really didn't even think about that for more than a second or two.
Right.
Which is not something I can say for our next game.
Miami and North Carolina. The Hurricanes come into Chapel Hill and take on a Tar Heel team that has been, they've just been sorely disappointing this year.
That's a really nice way to say that.
After losing to Florida State last week, 35-25, now they get Miami. And, it's not to say that Miami is a good team. I mean, both of these teams have been through the ringer this year. Miami, with all the injuries that they've been through, they're on, their third quarterback now? On the other side, you got a lot of problems with that Tar Heel team. They give up way too many points. The defense is just not good. And then you got Sam Howell, who, he has put up some pretty big numbers, but not in the way you'd expect. He's had 3 games rushing for 100 yards or more, and that is not what he was brought in to do.
I'll be really honest with you. I think, and people will gristle at what I'm getting ready to say.
Yeah.
I actually think Sam Howell has helped his draft stock.
Okay.
Because he's so mobile, and he's shown that off this year that I think teams will look at him and go, okay, that's a dynamic that we didn't, I'm not going to say we didn't know he had. We didn't know he could do it to this level.
Right. He's always been a big dude who can move, but now he's showing you that he can rack up yards rather than just fight for a third down.
He's not a super big, he's just a thick kid. And he's very athletic. I mean, I love Sam. He's my #1 quarterback in this draft class by a massive margin. I think the Baker Mayfield comparison on him is overblown. And I think it's just because dimensionally they're the same. And Sam doesn't have the cannon arm, but I think he has a bigger arm than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Who are you taking in this game?
I'm taking the Tar Heels. I'm taking the Tar Heels to cover the 7.5. I think that this will be a sort of a get-right spot.
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm taking Miami.
Okay.
One thing that every quarterback that Miami's going to play is going to have in common is they're going to be at least pseudo-mobile because it's so important to the scheme. Carolina doesn't do well with mobile quarterbacks.
Right.
And when I say mobile, I mean so long as if you can run a 40 and you need a stopwatch and not an abacus, they struggle with that. Because any form of mobility, and that's another thing, Miami's offense is predicated on pre-snap motion and things like that, and that has proven to be a bugaboo for the Tar Heels.
It has, between Jeff Sims with Georgia Tech and Jordan Travis with Florida State last week. It does cause problems.
Oh yeah, thanks. By the way, thanks for that, Tar Heels, because I really wanted to see more of Jordan Travis.
And now you're
he beat. Good God! If you read Florida State message boards, he beat Carolina. He should be the starter. You're dumb. You should stop talking. Yeah, I'm taking the U.
Okay. I'm on Carolina. He's on the U. You can lock in your wager at BETUS.com. BETUS.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy and get that deposit bonus of 125%, up to $2,500 when you do so. Pittsburgh is at Virginia Tech. The big battle in the ACC Coastal Division. Pittsburgh is a 5-point favorite at Virginia Tech. And look, I like Pittsburgh. Jeremy likes to make fun of me all the time because every time we talk about Pittsburgh, I have to talk about one guy.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett is just, he's a really...
Tank doesn't speak as glowingly of his children as he does of Kenny Pickett.
He's a really good quarterback.
He is a really good quarterback.
And, I mean, the stats bear it out. 19 touchdowns so far this year, and he's only thrown 1 interception. He's got weapons. They've got the defense. But here's the thing. Virginia Tech, that's a tough place to play. That literally is the whole narrative of me to this game. Plus,
Pittsburgh is one of those teams that likes to boo-boo kitty in their drawers when they shouldn't.
Yep.
That's how you lose to directional Michigan. I think I know who you're taking in this game. I think I'm on the same side.
Yeah, give me Dax Hollifield and the Virginia Tech Hokies to cover the 5.
I'm right there with you.
Virginia Tech +5 at home against a team that's good, but they're not great.
We have so little disagreement this week that it's really unsettling.
Jeremy hates it when we agree.
I do, because it's usually a fucking bloodbath for me when we agree this much.
Yeah, give me Virginia Tech +5. Ain't no doubt about it. At 3:30, another 3:30 game on Saturday, BYU at Baylor. You know how much I love BYU. I love Kalani Sitake. Kalani Sitake is like my favorite coach in all of college football. But this is a team that struggled last week. They lost to Boise State, and they turned the ball over 4 times in that game.
And I saw that completely different than most did.
Okay.
It took 4 turnovers for them to lose that game. I still think they're the markedly better team. I don't think they're going to turn the ball over that many times. And we all know how I feel about Baylor. If you've watched this show ever, you know how I feel about Baylor. I just don't buy them. I know they're better. I know they're improved. I don't see the home field advantage being a huge deal in Waco.
Right.
When the city you play in is most known for a fucking lunatic boarding people into a building and then setting it on fire,
You don't have much of a college football presence?
Well, I've never seen that. I hear Waco and I don't think, like Blacksburg.
Right.
The only thing I know about Blacksburg, Virginia is there's a stadium there.
Right.
And it's real fucking loud and they're real fucking good. And I don't feel that way about Baylor. And I feel like Vegas is giving you that much of they're giving you a home swing here that should be reserved for somebody like Virginia Tech.
Okay.
And I just don't buy it.
Baylor's a 5.5-point favorite. I am on Baylor to cover the 5.5. I think the defense is good enough that they will create some more turnovers against BYU. And I could very well see this being a 10-point game.
I cannot see that. I think BYU's the better team. I've thought they're the better team. I think they have spent this week going, we let a game go that we shouldn't have. So now we have to go get a game that we probably shouldn't win. And they, if we're being honest, probably should not win this game. Baylor's probably better than they are.
Agreed.
And I just don't care. I like BYU. I think they're better coached. And yeah, I like Dave Aranda, but Kalani Sitake is one of my favorite coaches in all of college football. So this is what, and look, I don't do narratives very often, but this is a bit of a narrative of, I don't see BYU losing 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know that outside of the Georgias, Alabamas of the world, I don't know that there's a team they could have played this week that I wouldn't have taken them against. And Baylor certainly does not follow.
Just as the bounce back, get right game.
Just as I trust good coaches to come back after bad losses. And last week, for better or worse, was bad loss.
Also in that 3:30 slate, the highlight of the week, the big SEC showdown between Kentucky and Georgia. You got number 11 at number 1, Sanford Stadium, between the hedges. There is, in my opinion, and of course I'm biased because I'm a Georgia fan, there is no atmosphere in college football quite like being in Sanford Stadium on a Saturday afternoon when the Bulldogs are ranked number 1 in the country. That's part of my problem, though, with this game, is that Georgia is number 1 in the country. And when Georgia becomes number 1 in the country and the expectations are so high, they constantly let us down. I don't think it's going to happen to the point where they will lose this game.
I don't either.
But 21.5 points is ridiculous.
I think that's too many, just solely. But this is one of those games that I feel like Vegas is going on reputation, and they're leaving out game script. Because to me, the game script here is there's going to be a lot of running. There's going to be a lot of moving clock. There's going to be a good number of yards between the 30s, and there's going to be a lot of field goals. I think Georgia will win this game, and I think they'll win it convincingly. I'm not laying 3 touchdowns to a good defensive team. I can see it, but I swear to you, you're going to tell me I'm out of my mind on this. I can see a path where there aren't 21 points scored in this game.
Yeah, I think you are out of your mind on that one.
I could see these are 2 of the best defenses in the country. And Kentucky does not get the credit that they deserve. And there's another team that we'll talk about very soon that I feel the same way about. And I'm just looking at this now. I don't think there's a team in all of college football that I would lay, no matter how good the offense is, that I would lay 20 points against Kentucky. We
don't know who's going to play quarterback for Georgia.
We do.
You think it's going to be JT?
They haven't come out and said it, but it's going to be Stetson Bennett, which is stupid. That, by the way, that's another reason I'm taking Kentucky in this game.
Right.
Because I think him against a legitimate defense, you're going to go, oh, God. Did we actually say it out loud that we think he's equivalently good to JT Daniels?
I don't think he's equally as good. I think JT Daniels is better. Stetson Bennett, though, has been playing unbelievable football lately. In the last 2 games, he's been like the number 2 quarterback in the country. And he hasn't done it against real shitty opponents. I mean, of course, 2 weeks ago was not a great
Arkansas
opponent,
runs a 3-man front. And against the level of line and things like that. I just look at this and go, this is really predictable to me that Stetson Bennett's not going to look super impressive in this game, and Georgia's defense is going to step up and win. I could see this looking a lot like Clemson did. When they played Clemson in Charlotte, I could see this game looking very similar to that.
I could see JT Daniels playing in this game, though. With JT
I can see him coming in because I don't think they can bench Stetson Bennett. And look, I'm not a Georgia fan. I just am reading the tea leaves of things that I am seeing on your message boards and shit like that. I think there is too much of a groundswell in Georgia for Stetson Bennett to be the starter. For Kirby to come in. If he comes in and he's not particularly good for 4 or 5 drives, then you can put in JT.
Yeah.
I think if you put JT in and say he throws 2 interceptions in the first drives, then that Kirby, this is Kirby. Kirby can't deal with the pressure, and he can't live up to being number 1, and he's better as the scrappy little underdog. And I think he knows that.
I think part of the narrative of this game also, though, needs to be Georgia's getting healthier. And I think that might be part of the reason that the spread is so big on this game, is because Marcus Rosemy Saint is supposed to be back from injury. Jermaine Burton's supposed to be back. JT Daniels could be back. You get this offense healthy and clicking on all cylinders, which it'll be rocky with all of them coming back together at the same time if that is what happens. But you put that with this defense, that's how scary this team could be. I heard somebody say it earlier this week. This year's Alabama is Georgia. And I agree with that.
I would agree with that.
But despite all of that, I'm taking Kentucky plus the 21.5.
If there was one thing that I said that I could say makes me nervous, is both starting defensive tackles for Kentucky will not play in this game.
Yep.
And that makes me nervous that you could see a shitload of Mr. Cook and Mr. White. And if I'm wrong, that will be why.
Yep. Alabama takes on Mississippi State on the road at 7 o'clock.
Can we be really honest about this game?
Be brutally honest.
Did you think about this for more than a tenth of a fucking second?
Nope.
I didn't.
Nope.
I really didn't.
Not a single one.
I looked at this and went, this line is stupid. Because Mississippi State, okay, you're improved under Mike Leach. Think about what we have talked about on this show with how that offense runs, that you're putting a lot of being on the same page on college-age quarterbacks and college-age wide receivers. Do you know what makes college-age kids make really stupid decisions?
What's that?
Well, there's 3 of them. Pretty girls, alcohol, and getting punched in the face repeatedly, which is what every player for this Mississippi State team is going to catch. Because that Alabama team giving up 41 points, now people are, oh, they're not that good. Cool. Hey, y'all, watch this.
Yeah.
We're going to come out and show you how fucking good we are. And I literally, my first thought when I watched the seconds tick off and the students rush the field against Texas A&M last week, my first thought was, God, I feel bad for whoever catches them next week.
Right.
Because now, not only are you getting the best team, I still think they're the best team in the country. Not only are you getting that team, who talent-wise is at worst the second best team in college football, not only are you catching them, you're catching them pissed.
The last time they lost 2 back-to-back games, 2013. The last time they lost back-to-back regular season games, because the 2013 was when they lost to Auburn and then lost in the bowl game. The last time they lost back-to-back regular season games, you got to go all the way to 2007.
And that was BS before Saban.
Yep.
And I don't think there's many records that, Saban really holds dear. I think that's one of them.
And Alabama covering 17.5 should be an easy lay for you.
What's your score prediction on this game?
Oh, I'm going to say it's 49-13.
I had 51-17, so we're close.
We're pretty close. 7:30 start in the Big 12. TCU at number 4.
Oh, hold on. I'll have to do that one. I forgot to slide it in there. It's Ole Miss and Tennessee.
Okay.
It's TCU and who?
TCU at Oklahoma.
All right, we'll do that one next.
Okay. Let's do Ole Miss and Tennessee. 7:30 slate. Ole Miss at Tennessee. Number 13 team in the country. Lane Kiffin going back to Knoxville. Look, I get that Tennessee should have the chip on their shoulder because of the Lane Kiffin thing. But if you don't think that this game means something to Lane Kiffin as well,
you don't know Lane Kiffin.
Exactly. You don't know Lane Kiffin. And Ole Miss's offense is unstoppable, at least when it comes to Tennessee. There's nothing Tennessee can do to keep Ole Miss off the scoreboard. I'm going to say 7 times, at least.
The over-under in this game, has it gone up or is it still 82.5?
Let's see here. It was 82.5. I think it's going to be the same, or relatively the same. For some reason, I can't find it here. Oh, there it is. It's 82. They took the half off.
I just noticed there were comments. I hadn't been paying attention to the comments.
Oh, I haven't either. I completely forgot. Yeah, it's 82
I'm trying to do
now.
graphics live, just so you know, just to see if this is a thing that's tangible. Can I walk and chew gum at the same time?
Right.
We will find out right now.
Right. It's 82. It's the highest over-under I've ever seen.
It's one of the higher ones I've ever seen. And the bad thing, I don't see how the under hits.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't see a path to the under hitting in this game. I really don't.
I don't either. I mean, Ole Miss's defense is better than Tennessee's defense, but they're not going to be able to shut out Tennessee. They're not going to be able to keep them off the scoreboard completely. But I could easily see this being 50-something to 30-something and get over that 82.
I don't think this game's going to stay all that close. When I did my projection for this, I have Ole Miss breaking 50, and I have Tennessee throwing in a couple late scores to pad the number. But it pains me as a gambler to go, hey, I'm going to go over 82.
Right.
Because to me, that feels like a sucker bet. But at the same time, I can't see how either one of these teams stops the other one. I mean, Ole Miss they'll sprinkle in a stop here and there. Yep. I could, honest to God, see Ole Miss scoring however many touchdowns that they have possessions. Because Tennessee's only played one quarterback that's even in the ballpark of Matt Corral.
Yep.
It was Kenny Pickett. You remember how that went? There you go. A lot of points for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker has been good since taking over as the starting quarterback for Tennessee. He's been putting up big numbers, completing 75% of his passes, 450 yards and 6 touchdowns to go with the rushing yards that he's put on top of it and the scores that he's put on top of it. But that was against Missouri and South Carolina. This is a little bit of a different ball game here. I don't see it. And I don't see a good future for Tennessee here either. Because they got Ole Miss this week. Then you know what they do? They go Alabama.
I was about to say there's an Alabama in here somewhere.
Wait, it gets worse. Kentucky and Georgia.
I was about to say, and I know
Those
there's a
are their
Georgia in
next
there
4
somewhere because we're
games.
supposed to be at that game.
Yeah. It's going to be rough. Now, to say something good about Tennessee, which I rarely do, you're going to be bowl eligible. You're going to get your 2 wins because you got to play South Alabama and Vanderbilt.
And that's 2 layup wins.
Yep. So you'll get to 6 wins and you'll be bowl eligible.
Which I'll be honest with you, this year is a win. That team being bowl eligible is a win.
Yep. Ole Miss minus 2.5 should be one of the easiest picks of the week.
I would agree with that.
All right, are we ready to talk about Oklahoma?
Yes.
TCU is at Oklahoma in the 7:30 slate. Oklahoma's a 13.5-point favorite. I'm taking Oklahoma to cover the 13.5.
Oh, did it go to 13.5? I have it at 12.5. Doesn't matter.
For
me, it doesn't matter. I think I may have pulled the consensus.
Yeah. I'm taking Oklahoma to cover the number because I think they may have found something here. With Spencer Rattler out of the way, quote unquote. Again, he's still on the team. He's still going to be he's still going to be on the sidelines. But Caleb Williams came in last week and led an improbable comeback against Texas. I think that might be the spark that they need.
I would agree with you. Here's the problem. I don't think he's going to start.
Really?
It tells me something that Lincoln Riley's being so coy about this. And here's what I think it is. Spencer Rattler is an asshole. And I'm not being spicy. Look it up. He's a douche. Last week after the Texas win, everybody takes a team picture to commemorate the great. Where's Spencer Rattler?
Yeah.
He's walking to the locker room. And there's part of me that thinks that maybe Lincoln Riley thinks he is the catalyst. He knows he's leaving after this year anyway. Because Spencer Rattler's one of those kids that ain't nobody going to tell him anything.
No.
He won't listen. Don't come out. Okay, I'm coming out anyway. Okay, cool. The 5th round is calling your name because that's where you're going to get drafted.
Right.
And the 2-point conversion's bothering me that you put that in the situation where you needed the score the most, you had to go back to Spencer Rattler. That tells me you have more faith in him. Should you? Probably not. And everybody at Oklahoma wants this to be Caleb Williams' team. Well, then why are you not telling them that? Because they're not going to like what you have to say.
Right.
I am taking TCU to cover this number.
Okay.
How many times has Oklahoma covered 7.5 against an FBS team this year?
0.
It's 0 times.
Yep.
I'm taking the Horned Frogs.
I don't. I think Lincoln Riley might actually have a backbone here. If he's smart.
For me, it's not that he doesn't have a backbone. It's that he actually believes Spencer Rattler's the better quarterback.
I don't know. I don't know how you can. After you saw Caleb Williams come in and save the game last week.
You also have to remember that was coming in the middle of the game.
I understand.
They had not prepped for Caleb Williams.
I understand.
That's just, you got to be careful with that. And look, I agree with that. I think Caleb Williams is their best chance to be really, really good.
Right. But is that not part of the thing, though? You don't want to. You don't want to let them know. You don't want to let the opponent know who's going to be the starting quarterback.
I'm going to level with you. If Oklahoma is doing that to TCU, you've already lost.
Yeah.
If you're playing that stupid game that teams like Jacksonville State do, we're not going to name our quarterback. You're fucking Oklahoma. Like, if you're doing that, you've already lost half the battle.
Yeah, you've got a fair point. But also TCU, they don't stop the run very well.
They don't.
They have given up over 800 yards on the ground in the last 3 games against SMU, Texas, and Texas Tech.
And I know that.
And who does Oklahoma have? A kid that I really believe in Kennedy Brooks. And I could see him having a major day.
I could too. But I also think Max Duggan on the other side would have a pretty good day.
Is he going to play? I know he was banged up last week.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to play.
Okay, well, that's good news.
The rumor I heard is that they were both going to play. And they're going to do some 2-quarterback horse shit, but please don't do that.
Yeah.
Just play Max Duggan.
Yeah.
He's the better of the two.
Okay. I think it's going to be a highly entertaining game.
I do too.
But I do believe that the emotion, I think they will go to the new quarterback, and
Here's why I'm taking TCU in a nutshell. No matter who they go with, somebody on this team's going to be pissed off about it.
Yep.
Straight up. This is how factions develop in teams and how they splinter and how you ultimately lose a game like this.
Fair enough.
I don't think they're going to lose, but I'll take TCU to cover.
Again, lock in your wagers at BETUS.com, BetUS.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy. They will give you a deposit bonus of 125% of whatever you put in, up to $2,500. So a possibility that you could have a lot of free tokens to play with at BetUS.com.
Eric Bradley in the comments, hey, we're like an AA meeting for sports. So, hey, Eric.
What's up, Eric?
He said not letting the Williams kid do the interview after the game was a bad move.
Bingo.
Agreed. And that's the number one reason I think Spencer Rattler's playing in this game.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, even if Caleb Williams takes the first snap, I'll bet you $1 to a donut that Spencer Rattler takes at least 25 snaps. Just everything about it's making me go, no. Don't do that.
All right, we got a showdown in the ACC at 7:30. NC State is at Boston College.
This is my favorite pick of the week.
NC State is a 3-point favorite on the road at Boston College. NC State's a good team.
Favorite pick of the week.
NC State's a good team. I like Devin Leary. I know he's not the greatest quarterback in the ACC, but they do move the ball very efficiently. And those running backs that they have, they can get it in, and the defense is tough. And I think they're going to be able to stop Boston College and that rushing attack.
I'm fine with Devin, don't call me Dennis Leary. Mm-hmm. What are my rules? What are my rules for how I pick games?
Better quarterback, better head coach, at home. You get all 3 of them here.
I do. I do. I get all three here. If Phil Jakovic was going to play in this game, which obviously he's hurt and done for the year and all those things,
right?
I believe in the backup. His name is eluding me right now. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Shit. I'm going to have to friggin' look it up. I can't remember it, which is sad because I literally bet Boston College every freaking week.
What
the hell is his name?
Grayson?
Dennis Grissel.
Grissel. That's it.
I really like this team. And I think Jeff Hafley is going to be a coach at a much bigger institution very soon. And this is one of those statement games. Boston College doesn't have a lot of chances at statement games.
Right.
All right, Clemson was probably their best shot, I guess, because the name.
Right.
They don't play anybody else. I mean, literally, look at Boston College. They play Louisville, Syracuse, Virginia Tech in Boston College. Georgia Tech, Florida State, and Wake Forest. That's it.
Yeah. NC State always finds a way to blow it when things are going well. They always have, they always will. So this could very well be that game.
I don't think this is them blowing it. I think Boston College is a better team.
Okay. Maybe so.
I love this defense.
But you think about the trajectory. Think about the trajectory of NC State here. I mean, they beat Clemson. Sure, they've got the loss on the road to Mississippi State, but they beat Clemson, and now they're kind of they're
You didn't say
kind
that,
of
right? That wasn't a loss to Mississippi State. It was you got your ass handed to you by Mississippi State.
Right. But NC State, they're top of the close to the top of the Atlantic Division. They've got a real shot here to run the table, be the representative in the ACC championship game, possibly get into a New Year's Six Bowl if they win it. This is a perfect spot for them to screw that up.
I don't dispute anything you just said.
However, I'm taking NC State minus the 3 because nothing would give me more pleasure than to lose money on this game because I hate NC State with a freaking passion.
I think you've
But
listened.
I honestly think they're going to lose. I honestly think they will win this game. It'll be
not.
close. It'll be a 5-6 point game. I like NC State to cover the 3.
Boston College has had 2 weeks to prepare for this, which means Jeff Hafley has had 2 weeks to come up with how to stop them.
Yep.
And Chestnut Hill is going to be a madhouse.
Yes, it will. Last game of the featured slate here in the Sportsocracy. Arizona State is at Utah. It's a 10 o'clock start. This game is a pick'em.
And that doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make much sense to me.
I mean,
either.
is this the only way that this makes any sense to me is that you're taking a massive swing home and away with Utah.
Yep.
And you're giving, and I'll be honest with you, I would give this credit. I think Kyle Whittingham is a better college head coach than Herman Edwards.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I do not know how you're going to stop Jaden Daniels. I don't. To me, he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in this draft class. I really like the kid, and the fact this is a pick'em is dumb. Utah has been a disaster. I'm taking the Sun Devils.
I am too. I'm taking the Sun Devils in the pick'em. I think the defense is playing really well. They picked off Tanner McKee 3 times in that Stanford game, and I could see them just kind of flexing muscle here against Utah. Everybody believes that Utah is, the Utah of a year ago or 2 years ago. But it's not. They've fallen off a little bit. They do have a pretty good defense, but it's not anywhere close to being elite.
I'm going to try to pronounce this. Stadia Wizzy? We're like an A meeting for sports?
What's up, Wizzy?
Nice to see you. He says Bama is 11th in the Vegas power rankings. Be really careful trusting those. I have the insider Vegas rankings. Guess where Alabama is?
1.
Number 1. This is the little cheat sheet that's deciphered out to gamblers like me. They're number 1.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at power rankings for this, Arizona State's 18. Care to take a stab at where Utah is? You're going to go way too low just based off how I said that.
34.
37. They're right there with Tennessee. And in the last game, NC State's 33, Boston College 36.
Oh, okay.
So they're right there on top of each other.
Yep.
That is enough for a home swing. I don't, 2 in the Vegas rankings, when he asked me, Georgia, Ohio State's 3, Oklahoma's 4. Iowa's 5, Cincinnati's 6, Notre Dame's 7. Never understand. Brian Kelly must have dirty pictures of somebody doing something weird with somebody's wiener.
Right.
That's the only thing that makes any sense to me.
All right, those are your Dirty Dozen college football picks for Week 7. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I think from stem to stern this week, there is a game in every time slot that is going to thrill you.
We also will have my Greene on Greene on YouTube for the first time today.
Excellent.
If you've never seen this, you will wonder how I don't pass out because I yell a lot.
And of course, Greene on Greene, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We're on 3 to 5 weekday afternoons on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 locally. End of each hour gives Jeremy's 6-pack of picks, and he loves to make you money.
And I've got I got some real good.
Good. Let the hate flow through you.
All right, we will be with you this afternoon at 3 o'clock on the radio side. And, of course, back here again in the Wicked Weed studio Sunday morning for our fantasy football spectacular that we do each and every week to get you ready for the NFL slate. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. And we will see you next time.